Hello, how are we doing? And in today's video we are doing an FPL review of Game Week 1 and an FPL preview for Game Week number 2. That's right, back with another video, and I'm sorry that it didn't come in time. I had a busy day, I'll admit. I was actually at a Watford under-21s game between Watford and Fleetwood Town, so had a busy day, couldn't get back in time. The plan was I was going to get back in time enough to schedule a video to go live and premiere at 6:15, as I'd mentioned in my nostalgia video yesterday, but I just got too busy and didn't get it done in time. But do smash a like on the video, comment your locked in team. Of course, the deadline is now passed. It was 6:15, it's currently 6:51. As I say, apologies for the delay, but it just is the way things worked out, the way the cookie crumbled. But let me know in the comments, are you excited about this Game Week 2? Have you made any transfers, or have you done what a lot of people have done, which is rolled the transfer after the first week of only 1 week of information, having those 2 free transfers for Game Week 3? I actually did go on a stream with FPL Casuals Llama and also FPL Veteran, of course, Shane. They were brilliant, and if you didn't check out that video on Thursday night, then I do recommend you go watch it now. It was a really fun video to film. The guys were really great, and it was just a really fascinating discussion. I mean, I talked about how I came to start playing FPL, my kind of FPL manager style, and basically, how things came about with FPL Juice, etc., etc. So in today's video, we're going to be reviewing Game Week 1, talking a little bit about Fantasy Football Fest and how that went last Friday, a week, of course, last Friday, bang on, last week. So yeah, it was exciting, of course, at this top point in the day. We were all gutted about the fact that we hadn't seen the Gabriel news in time and all that. We'll get to that, don't worry. And then also I'll be previewing my Game Week 2 team, which I'll be honest, I mentioned how I was a bit delayed for the video today. I was a bit delayed in my transfers because I was talking on the stream about, I was going to roll, it was all comfortable, and I might have rolled or might have not rolled. We will see. I'm tempting fate, but we'll leave that one up to the imagination and for you guys and girls to find out. So if you do smash a like on it, that would really help me out. And as I say, get your thoughts on Game Week 2 and what transfers you've gone for, if any. So let's start off with the Game Week 1 review then, shall we? Then we'll, as we go along, we'll try and fit in stuff about Fest, but then we'll talk about Fest, how was that, etc. And then we'll get into Game Week 2. So let's start off with the goalkeeper, Andre Onana. Onana, what's my name? Havana Onana. And talking of Havana Onana, how about Havana O9er? O9er, that's my name. Yes, that's his name. Andre Onana, the Cameroonian. What a legend. Now, if you watched that Manchester United Wolves game, you'd know that that was a daylight robbery. Wolves were all over Manchester United, and to be honest, Onana was pretty dreadful. Then in the last kind of few minutes of the game, he made a couple of saves to get those save points. But then, oh my days, it was well put by the Wolves Instagram account. It was as if he was recruited by Impractical Jokers who said, go up to a Wolves striker, Kalajic, and collide with the tall striker and do a cannonball on him. And somehow, VAR checking club badge, the penalty was not given. Big Six buyers kicking in big time and Wolves feeling absolutely robbed, and rightly so. And even as an Onana owner, I know those 9 points, they are so jammy, but I will take them and run with them because, I did think that Onana, with his passing out from the back, his potential save points, would get me some FPL points. I did not think it would be that fortuitous on the opening week. But yeah, look, I'm going to celebrate that, of course. Andre Onana, 9 points, very lovely stuff. We're loving that. And look, at the end of the day, whether or not you think it's a penalty, that's how many FPL points I got. So very, very happy. He did a lot better than a lot of goalkeepers that game, other than Bird Leno, of course, got the 12-pointer at Everton. But I didn't really think about him because of the tricky fixtures on the horizon for Fulham. So yeah, absolutely loving that from Onana, and really, really happy to see him get those points in my team. Then Gabriel. This was, of course, the story of Fantasy Football Fest because, unfortunately, this year at Fest, the Wi-Fi was not as good as last year. I mean, last year I went in 2022 the first time I went, and it was amazing. It was so good. The FPL community is fantastic. The FPL community, I should say now, with Elon changing things up, much to our dismay. Gabriel, yeah, I mean, look, he was so nailed on for about 80 games last season. Going back to previous campaigns, he was so nailed. And then about a couple minutes before deadline, some people get the news from the legend Let's Talk FPL Andy's stream that he has a good source, has told him that Gabriel doesn't start the game against Nottingham Forest. So everyone's like, oh, I need to switch to Saliba. But as I mentioned, I didn't get the news until actually after the deadline. And even if I had done, I'd have run out of the tunnel at Fantasy Football Fest to try and get some sort of internet connection. Probably wouldn't have even done it in time anyway, because there was no connection even for using data, the Wi-Fi. It was just an absolute shambles, really. But you feel for Fest because they were brilliant, and sometimes these things happen, so it is what it is. But yeah, Gabriel, that was a real kick in the teeth because I just was so confident he'd start, and we know why people went for him, because he's got that goal threat, that set piece threat, and Nottingham Forest weren't good away from home last season. They actually didn't play too badly in the end. But to see Gabriel benched there was really a bit of a shame. And then it really did rub salt in the wounds when Saliba picks up that lucky assist for the Saka goal. I mean, look, it just happens to be Saliba. It passes to Saka, and then Saka scores an absolute thunderbolt, which Saliba really has nothing to do with. So, yeah, it's just one of those, it's a bit of variance. Last season, I had Gabriel for a lot of the FPL campaign, and Saliba punished me, and variance has kicked in again, and that was just very unlucky. But it's only a 4-point swing, so it's not drastic because of the fact that Saliba lost that clean sheet. So that was a kind of nice thing. But I was at the point of Gabriel coming on, I was like, no, why'd you got to come on for the 1-pointer? Because I was so sure that Matty Cash was going to do bits and get a goal, get an assist away to Newcastle. It didn't exactly go to plan for Matty Cash, though. Concedes 5, misses a sitter, gets -1. Not exactly ideal. So when Gabriel did come on, I was like, oh, I'm fuming. Cash is going to be such a good differential pick. And then when Newcastle hit 5 later that day, I was like, thank Lord that Gabriel came on in the end. But look, at the same time, it's still annoying about Gabriel. Mark Guerhi, he was my kind of duty differential in Game Week 1. I'd always go for 1 each season. I mean, last season it was Kulusevski in that Southampton home fixture, 13-pointer, thank you very much. The season before that, when Watford were in the Premier League, I know it feels like a while ago that, Ismail Assar, home to Aston Villa, got himself a cheeky goal. Loving that for sure. And this season it was Mark Guerhi. As uninspiring and boring as that is, I just couldn't find amazing differentials that, outside of some of the 4.5 defenders would really tickle my fancy this season, because with the way the pricing is, the way the fixtures have kind of fallen, the template is looking really strong this year, and it's a lot of similar players from last season's template. So I just had to go with it. But Mark Guerhi, yeah, I liked the Palace's fixtures, especially with another rotating 4.5 defender. And yeah, Guerhi was just, a bit of set piece threat last season. Did pop up with a goal, I think, away to Leeds. And I just liked him. It's a shame I went for him over Anderson because he ended up getting the 3 bonus points, and so did Mitchell, got 2 bonus points. So literally, other than Ward, could have picked any other Palace defender, would have got more. But, I'll absolutely run with those 6 points. And a lot of defences, FPL teams in Game Week 1 didn't get those clean sheets. So, to be honest, I'm pretty happy to be in that, small minority of the clean sheet people. And Mark Guerhi, I'm still very much happy with you, my friend. Those 6 points, very nice differential, only about 1.9% owned. So lovely jubbly, Mark Guerhi. And then we had Estupinian, of course, the former Watford boy. I had to have him in my team ahead of a juicy home fixture with Luton. Now, I would have loved the clean sheet, of course. It didn't come in the end, but he has that attacking threat in any given game, whoever the opposition. So that was brilliant to see. Got the assist and, of course, got some additional bonus points. So Estupinian, very, very happy with you, my friend. Then Martinelli, of course, he was a bit differential, only about 14% owned going into Game Week 1, because people were worried about his minutes, with Trossard possibly taking them from him. And obviously with the injury to Gabriel Jesus a few weeks before the season, that meant we thought maybe Havertz could play in that kind of number 9 role. Will that mean Martinelli doesn't play as far forward? Does that take minutes off him? Does Trossard start because of that, etc.? So there was a few doubts over Martinelli, but I was still really liking him for that price. And I think for the start of the season at least, although there's risk later on when there's not as much Champions League until around Game Week 5-6, then it's worth it to just... Martinelli can do more in 70 minutes than someone like Trossard can do off the bench, in my opinion. So it just makes sense. And, before, when people had Jesus in their teams, yes, Jesus is pretty nailed, but he's not really an FPL asset that scores loads of goals. He's more of a workman striker, and he does well. And I'm kind of gutted, really, that Jesus got injured, because then it would have lured people into a not good of an FPL pick, in my opinion, as Martinelli. But yeah, in the end, a lot of people flocked to him, but as I say, not that many in the end. So 5 points. Look, it's a bit underwhelming, because I thought that Forest were going to get blitzed by Arsenal, but at the same time, what an assist, that goal from Nketiah. I mean, that amazing Maradona roulette assist. It's just, whether or not he meant it, it just looked brilliant. And yeah, he could have definitely got more. So it looked brilliant, and I'm happy to own him for sure going into game week 2 away to Palace. Then we've got, of course, Saka, my boy Saka, star boy. What a goal, 10-pointer. He was just absolutely locking my team after that 8.5 price reveal, and he's on pens. Just love him, absolutely love him as an asset. He's just not going anywhere in my team, and he delivered the goods. Bukayo Saka with a cheeky goal. Bruno Fernandes. Now, my team was kind of based around Bruno this season. When I saw his price at 8.5, that was just a price I couldn't refuse, and him being on penalties, we weren't quite sure what his role was going to be with Mason Mount coming in, but we did see in pre-season Mount was playing a bit deeper, and Fernandes was playing a bit further forward in that attacking midfield, and I thought, he's the chief creator, he's going to get involved in chances. When I watched that Wolves game, Fernandes was pretty missing, and he wasn't playing as far forward as I'd hoped. So not ideal, really, for that game against Wolves, but at the same time, like Fernandes, he's a fantastic footballer, so let's wait and see if he can deliver the goods away to Tottenham in game week 2. But then we got Mohamed Salah. Now, of course, Salah was my bit of a differential, really. I mean, when will we ever say that? Under 30% owned is not often for Mohamed Salah, but because of the fact that Haaland came in at 14, Trent at 8, it was pretty hard to fit in Salah into your team as well, especially if you were favouring a 4-4-2. A lot of people went for those 4-4-2s or 3-5-2s without Salah. Not many 3-5-2s with them, having Mo Salah in the team, but Pedro was really my Salah enabler for that, and as a Watford fan, as a player who watches Pedro week in, week out, I loved the fact that I could use Pedro to get me to Salah, and Salah was just the king. He's the absolute king, and I know that away to Chelsea he wasn't perfect, but 5 points, that could have been such a monster haul. He had a goal disallowed, he had a possible penalty which I think should have been given from the handball from Nicholas Jackson. And yeah, it looked an unbelievable assist for that Diaz goal. The way he just threaded that pass through. So he looked like he was cooking in that game, even if the points didn't come. He looked really back to his best. And now he's got a home fixture with Bournemouth. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, he was still decent, got me a return. And then Karu Mitoma, a bit like with Martinelli, a bit frustrating it's only the assist there. But at the end of the day, he looked brilliant against Luton. I wanted to go with a triple up Brighton, maybe the Watford bias there kicking in. But to only get one assist in a 4-1 victory for Brighton, bit frustrating Mitoma. And he did do this last season where he just didn't get as many hauls as we want at the right moments. Did do it early on in his time at Brighton, but no one really owned him then. So I've just got to hope that Mitoma goes big away to Wolves in game week 2. But yeah, bit of a shame, just the assist. However, looked very, very good. And look, it was a great game week all in all for me. Only 2 players in my team, Gabriel and Bruno Fernandes, to not return in some way, shape or form. So a fantastic game week, 84 points. Erling Haaland on the captain, of course. And I couldn't have picked a better one for game week 1 with a 13-point haul. This is what he does. Don't bet against him. 187 effective ownership. Why would you go against that? And yeah, what a player. I mean, it's just a joke. 3 minutes, 4 seconds in, and he gets a goal. It's just normal service resumed for Erling Haaland. And then Joao Pedro, my boy, my star boy, JP9. What a baller. And yeah, so great to see a 5.5 gem in FPL on penalties, starting the game, delivering the goal, getting the bonus points. I mean, you love to see it, really. So that was a really nice one for him to outscore the likes of Watkins and other strikers. So yeah, it really was a good game week for Joao Pedro, and he is a bit of a minute's risk going forward, I admit that. De Zerbi has since come out and said he wants to try things differently, he wants to shake things up. They've still got Ferguson there, they've still got Welbeck, but you know what, it's Joao Pedro at the end of the day. I've just got wedded to him, so I just like him too much as an asset. He might well get benched away to Wolves, but we'll have to wait and see. But for now, he is an absolute legend for that haul. And then the bench was Matt Turner, obviously had that away fixture against his former team, Arsenal, and did well to bench him with Onana getting the big haul there. I think Turner ended up getting like a 1 or a 2 pointer. So yeah, he didn't do too badly actually. Only conceded 2, but yeah, not great still. Then Cash, obviously, I talked about Villa, absolute meltdown defensively, and Cash did miss a sitter, getting a -1 point. So glad that Gabriel didn't come on in the end, but I thought Cash would be a good option because, Villa defensively looked really good last season with Unai Emery, and I thought they were really going to do well this season. They might still do well. Matty Cash obviously did miss a sitter, as I said, but Villa's fixtures not too bad. Some nice ones in there. Obviously, they got Liverpool coming up. They have got Everton as well, and Aston Villa have also got Burnley, I think. So not too bad fixtures, to be fair. A bit off and on, but that's why they're good for that rotation. And then Bulldog away to home to Palace. Sorry, I didn't fancy a clean sheet for Bulldog there. He's the 4.0, I think, is going to do well, but he ended up getting, a very measly, blank for Bulldog. And then finally we had Divin Mubama for West Ham. Didn't actually play in the game away to Bournemouth, so it is what it is, right? A 4.5 forward, we're not going to lose sleep on him, but ultimately, what a first game week of the season. Really solid foundation to start with, and I cannot complain at all. I mean, the way I look at it is that game week 1 was one of those game weeks where you just want to go off to a good start. You don't want to really be far behind the pack after the start. And I just can't complain, really. I think good game week. We got ourselves up to a rank of 284,703, so around about 284k, 84 points, as I mentioned. Nice green arrow to start the season. And Onana, legend. Martinelli, lovely. Pedro, lovely. 13 points sitting off the top 10k. So very solid start. We definitely dodged a bullet with Rashford. With no Rashford and just Bruno, to see Rashford also blank against Wolves was a massive relief with his high ownership. And it's going to be another one in game week 2 that I'm going to have to really sweat about. But another player who did hurt me as in terms of ownership was Chilwell. I was hiding behind the sofa watching that, but I just didn't have the funds to get a 5.5. My most expensive player in this setup was a 5.0 Gabriel or a Stupinian, and since then actually Stupinian's gone up to 5.1. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare watching that for him, Chilwell. And then also on that same Sunday, Maddison, he was in my draft in pre-season like loads, and he was just the one that got away. As I say, with this setup, I just couldn't afford a 7.5, and I wanted at least one United attacker, so I was always going to start with Bruno with that team name, and I always wanted the double Arsenal attack. So it's one of those things. I wanted that Brighton triple up or home to Luton. As much as I think, Brighton, they can be a bit of a minefield. I think at the start of the season, those first 3 fixtures were so nice. And then, I wanted the King, Mohamed Salah. So it just made sense for this setup. And I think I definitely did well. And the average was around about 75 to 80. So to get beyond that was really, really nice. Other, players that really got away from me. Bird Leno, as I mentioned, did get that 12-pointer. But he was actually the first player I tweeted about back in early start of May when the new game started, whispers of launching, so Leno, a bit of a shame, but as I say, his fixture's not great for Fulham coming up, and then also Mbeumo getting that penalty was a real kick in the teeth. A few people had Mbeumo, and I doubted him in pre-season, didn't think he'd be a good asset, and to be honest, he didn't look great against Spurs. I thought he was wasteful with that missed chance, an absolute sitter, and I think he might have even hit the post yet again, is what he does. But the fact is, players that are on penalties get goals, and he did just that, and he did it like Tony style as well. So yeah, great penalty. And Bowen as well. I had Bowen for a little period. The same goes with Maddison really, but yeah, that they came in with a goal, Bowen, and a great goal at that. And then Maddison with 2 assists, 9-pointer, looked very dangerous. So yeah, he's going to be one that I'm going to want to own game week 3 probably. But we'll talk about game week 3 and game week 2 in a little bit. Before we do, let me just talk to you about what was, of course, Fantasy Football Fest. It was a great night. Some legends there that I met, of course, the likes of FPL Veteran, who I, of course, joined on that stream on Thursday night. Also, we met the likes of FPL Nim, Nim Freya. We also had Sam from FPL Family, who, of course, does go on the official FPL pod and does, her own YouTube FPL family with her husband Lee. Lee was also really nice, talking about Liverpool, and I was trying to tempt him out of Richarlison. I think I did just do that because he went for Maddison in the end, but I should have gone for Maddison. Yeah, it was interesting, and it was a great night. Once again, pizza, lovely stuff. The shame about the Gabrielle thing, but also Lloyd Griffith was there. He was a brilliant comedian, really great fun. We had, of course, the likes of Gianni. We had Ed, who sets it up. Mark Southerns and Az did a live Black Box episode, and I chipped in with an Alvarez shout, which, of course, I never followed through with. But, there was conflicting reports about whether Alvarez would start, and I wanted my boy, Joao Pedro. I couldn't afford that 1 million downgrade for anyone else. I didn't really want to get Trossard for Martinelli. So, in the end, that's what we went with, and very happy for that first game week, I've got to say. So ahead of game week 2, I always thought, can I bank that transfer? Can I do it as much as possible? It's always about fixing your weakest link. And so I was going to roll my transfer this week, but newsflash, I haven't. Yes, believe it or not, people, I had the most last second change of mind the world's ever seen, and it's groundbreaking stuff, really. I've got to admit, without Chilwell and Rashford going into game week 2, I'm still sweating like a pig. The same goes for Mitoma. I'm not too keen on Mitoma, and Diaby and Mbeumo are just looking at me saying, why aren't you owning me? But, you've got to stick to your guns sometimes in FPL, and that's what I'm going to try and do here. But, ultimately, let's look at the team for game week 2. So, this is the team for game week 2 as follows. We've got Matt Turner in goal. Yes, believe it or not, I switched out Anana and put in my second sub goalie, Matt Turner, for the game tonight, kicking off in about 30 minutes' time. It's Forest, home to Sheffield United, and surely that Sheffield United attack is so toothless enough that this can get some points. I just want a clean sheet, nothing else, right? It's time to make yourself a hero, Matt Turner, and I know that this has always backfired in the past. The likes of Ramsdale sitting on my bench away to Leicester, 13-pointer, and I started 4.0 Danny Ward, and he just let us down all the time. But I feel that this Sheffield United team is so bad going forward that surely it should come good. I think Spurs looked really good from an attacking perspective last week, and although Onana can pick up some save points, I'm hoping that logical decision comes out trumps this time. And Turner confirmed to start by FPL Heisenberg, so that's good to hear. Then we also, was it Heisenberg or was it Raptor? I can't remember. The back three though, Gabriel. Yes, I know Gabriel. It's a bit of a topic in the community right now, but we've gone for him away to Palace, and I can see a Gabriel bullet header coming. I just feel it in my bones. But yeah, hopefully Gabriel will start. I mean, look, I think it was a weird tactical decision by Arteta to not start him, but I still feel he is more likely to start now more than ever, especially now with Timber picking up an injury. So hopefully he slots right back in and gets a bullet header. As I mentioned, he's got that set piece threat. And the great thing is that Palace are not great from set pieces. So hopefully that's a nice marriage. And you will see there the new addition. Yes, believe it or not, I made a transfer. Absolutely groundbreaking stuff. I was so set on rolling the transfer ahead of game week 2 and then having 2 for game week 3, because then it was going to basically enable me to make the moves I wanted to make. Right, I had it all planned out. I had a little screenshot of my transfers for game week 3. I was going to do Estupinian to Chilwell and Salah to Maddison. Well, that's gone in the bin, because now I'm going to struggle to get those players, because now I'm only going to have 1 free transfer in game week 3, as everyone else is going to have 2, because most people have rolled. But you always say, fix your weakest link. And I'm sorry, Matty Cash. And I went on about Matty Cash in the Llama FPL Casual stream on Thursday night. And it's ironic, I know. But I just got cold feet about 20 minutes before deadline when I came back from being at the Watford game. I was like, oh, is Matty Cash actually nailed? Because Konza can play there at right back. They could have players like Luka Dean come in and, start. They could have Pau Torres start. Obviously, Mings is now out injured, but they've got Konza, they've got Pau Torres, they've got options in that Aston Villa team, So I just felt that the Cash was not nailed enough. And yes, okay, he had a great fixture at home to Everton, but I'd rather a player I know is going to start, and I'd rather a defence that I know could do better. Now, of course, 5 goals is a bit knee-jerky to take out Cash straight away, and I've probably bottled it a little bit there. But I still believe this weekend I've got more faith that Henry outscores Cash. Now, let's see if that does backfire. The good thing is, of course, this is a free transfer, so I've not taken a hit. So at least, it doesn't cost me in that respect. Let's just see if it costs me points wise. But I just fancied Henry because he looked really good, I thought, at home to Spurs. Tough fixture, but he was so attacking, much like Chilwell. He's bombing forward all the time and got that assist for that Wissa goal and just looked really threatening. And I just looked at Brentford's fixtures and I was like, I can't miss out on that. And although there's a bit of concern with Flecken coming in, obviously we don't know how good Brentford are going to be this season defensively, but I think Henry will sort himself out. And as I say, he's got that attacking threat that I really do like. I'm not sure Cash has really done that for a long time. It's been a couple seasons till he's delivered since then, and he's not really been at the same level since. And as I say, will he start? We're not 100% sure. So I think Henry's just a better 4.5. So I've gone from a 4.5 to a 4.5. Yes, exactly not what we want to be doing, to be honest. But as I say, fixture weakest link. And yeah, okay, I could take a -4 next week to get in the Chelsea boys, to get in the Tottenham boys, which, to be honest, I am worried about not owning right now. But I'm just going to give it one more week because you never know, right? We could look at this Chelsea game against West Ham and see that Chelsea weren't what we thought they would be. Maybe they just wanted to be up for that Liverpool game. And we could see that Spurs game, this week against, interesting Manchester United side. And if United win that game and Spurs look, not that great, then maybe we could, have second thoughts. However, I feel like Henry is always going to be attacking that system. It's a new system at Chelsea. It's a new system at Brentford. At Tottenham. So Chelsea and Tottenham, new systems. They might be different in the second week. We'll have to see. But I do feel that Fulham are pretty toothless. Jimenez, I'm not inspired by, and Mitrovic, not starting these days. So I'm hoping for a clean sheet, but then if he can get an attack and return on top of that, then beautiful. And he's nice differential. I've seen actually now a few people actually with Cash in their team. So if I thought Cash was differential at 7.6% ownership, Henry's even less. I think he's around about 4% ownership. So hopefully my guy Rico brings home the bacon, and much like Thierry Henry, gets me the FPL points. Now, Stupinian for Wolves away. I mean, look, Brighton defence I'm not that confident in, but look, at the end of the day, he's so attacking and Wolves are so poor in terms of their chances conceded. Now, I know that United were terrible and Wolves probably should have won that game, but as much as they were stubborn Wolves, they did still concede chances, and I feel like Brighton are going to win this game. Hopefully a clean sheet for Brighton there. Then we've got the midfield five, Martinelli, Fernandes, Mitoma, Salah, Saka. It's exactly the same five who started last week. The big difference is, of course, Salah on the captain, and I just couldn't really go for it. I couldn't really have Salah in my team and not captain him this week. And I know that Haaland's a joke and he'll score goals against anyone, and he'll probably score a hat-trick now that I've done this, but I just feel that Salah had to be the optimal choice because home to Bournemouth, I know he did blank in a 9-0, but look, that was just a one-off freak accident. It surely can't happen again. And I like Salah, angry Salah, after he wasn't happy in the Chelsea game. He can get goals. He really could have hauled last week, and I think hopefully that haul comes this week. Then Martinelli, Palace, good fixture. As I said, Palace defensively, they're all right, to be honest, but I think Arsenal will do well in this game. And Martinelli looked brilliant against Forest. And then we've got Fernandes. Not an easy fixture, but Spurs, he's on penalties, and hopefully he'll be playing a bit further forward this week. And then we'll reassess ahead of Game Week 3's nice fixture against Forest. Then Mitoma as well. Look, Mitoma's got to deliver for me. I'm hoping for a haul this week because that 5 points was a bit just underwhelming for me last week. And then, of course, Saka, star boy. He's always in the team. Pedro, the star boy as well. We've got star boys all over the place here. And Haaland, of course, on the vice captain. But I could well be punished there. I just think with Haaland, he's going to be my captain pretty much every single other week of the first 9 or 10 weeks of the season. So this was the optimal week to go against Haaland. Not that, he's not a good player. Of course, he's an absolute perma-captain. But this week, the fixture just looks better for Salah. And Salah can always match Haaland on his day. Pedro, of course, hopefully he does start, but if not, I've got Bulldog off the bench. Hopefully, I'm not sure whether or not it will work out for me there. Estupinian looking like a bit of a doubt, people said, but I think he's going to be fine in the end. Bulldog was the one that was a bit more unsure, but hopefully he should start because if Pedro does get benched, I'll need someone to come on, and he's got a good fixture away to Forest. Hopefully that's a 0-0, but might be a clean sheet, hopefully at least for my keeper Turner. And then Onana on the bench, as I say, it could punish me, but I think it's the optimal choice. Then Gurhi, home to Arsenal was a tricky fixture. And then once again, third on bench, doesn't really matter, Mubama. So that's my Game Week 2 team locked in for this video, and I hope you have enjoyed. Smash a like on the video and do comment your thoughts in the comment section below. I've talked about Game Week 1, I've talked about the Fest and how brilliant it was. You know, such a great occasion, as always, every year. And I've also given you my Game Week 2 team selection. So yeah, do smash a like on it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.